This is Providence Television International, the game changer. Stand by for the next program.
Good morning and welcome to the newspaper analysis segment of the Morning Drive on Providence Television International. My name is Ugwebo Ikikwa, and with me in the studio this morning, I have the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Providence Television International, Dr. Emmanuel Egarivaye. Welcome to the program.
Yes, thank you very much. It's a special day for us, particularly for the station. This is the first independence anniversary on the station, and it's quite auspicious. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. On this note, I want to, on behalf of the station, wish all of you out there a wonderful Independence Day celebration. We'll move straight away to the front page of the Daily Trust newspapers, where we have Hardship. I'm committed to sustainable solutions, says Tinubu. Says country is winning war against insecurity. Unveils plan for 30-day youth confab. We'll tie these stories together as we move straight to the Leadership newspaper, where we also have, on the Independence Day celebration, Tinubu admits economic struggles, calls for patience, defends fiscal reforms, says he inherited bad economy. And then we'll move to the front page of the Matrix newspaper, where we have, amid hardship, Nigeria celebrates 64th independence. Symbol of national pride, unity, now passes with faint enthusiasm. This is coming from the CUPP, and the Nigeria Labour Congress is saying Nigerians burdened by broken promises, exploitation, corruption.
Where do we even start from? 64 years down the road, we have cause to celebrate the continuing existence of the country. And I think that's about the only thing, really, because I keep asking myself, what are the things that Nigerians as a people enjoy as citizens of this country? Just ask me. What are the things we enjoy? Is it security? Is it good standard of living? Is it petrol price? Is it good roads? Is it good Medicare? Just litany of problems. And I think this is, as I said yesterday, this is one golden opportunity for the president to take a second look at those promises that he made. Because we're talking about a litany of broken promises. And I don't think that is good for our psyche as a people. Today, Nigerians are in pain and misery. There's no doubt about it. I'm not even overstating it because everybody knows about it, all right? So we need to do some inward thinking. Okay. Yes, some kind of introspection. For the leadership, I think over time, in the last maybe 2-3 decades, we have had a very skilled leadership that was not always in tune with the realities on the ground. You remember, at one time, the former president, military president Babangida, said he was shocked that Nigeria had not collapsed. Okay, I think we have the resilience, which is so natural. We have the resilience to keep on moving in spite of these failed promises. So we're talking about skilled leadership. We are talking about delusion. I'm sorry to say this, but most of our leaders suffer from this delusion, thinking that all is well. And all certainly is not well. If you go out there now, there's no atom of smiles on the faces of the people. It's so gloomy, extremely gloomy. I mean, I drove down to the office and I looked at both sides of the road. I couldn't see signs of celebration, even though the presidency has said that, no, we should celebrate on the low key. But even at that, a country's independence is also a symbol of its sovereignty. When I said yesterday that in those days when we were much younger, we looked up to October 1st as a very big occasion, even bigger than Christmas. Yes, and I know what I'm talking about. Okay? So we hope that this occasion will be used to reenact those values that we have lost. And the president is the number one citizen of this country. As a leader, he should show us the way, okay, to recovery and to a situation where we can now say, yes, we have arrived. Because we haven't arrived at all. After 64 years, we're still groping.
All right.
Yes.
We've always had a I don't know if to call it an excuse though, or if to actually say it is a reality, where you have every government always coming out to blame the past government. Like we have on the front page of a leadership newspaper, Tinubu admits economic struggles, calls for patience, defends fiscal reforms, and says he inherited bad economy.
This is quite strange. A lot of analysts have talked about this. Even newspapers in their editorials, they have talked about this, that why should we be playing the blame game all the time? For 8 years, Buhari blamed the Jonathan administration. Yet we're now in charge, okay? Now, what even amazes people is that the president was part of that administration, the Buhari administration. He had, in fact, I think he was called the leader of the party,
Yes.
okay? And he had all the opportunities to advise properly. And he didn't say for any moment that that administration was off course, all right. And he even said that he was going to continue from where Buhari stopped.
Exactly.
In other words, what Buhari did was good, as far as he was concerned. Otherwise, he would not have said that he was going to continue from where Buhari stopped, all right. That he was going to build on what Buhari did. That's what amazes people. I mean, religious leaders, those serious ones amongst them, have talked about this. So I think it's totally out of place. We are only just praying that we'll continue to keep together as one. But even at that, we're talking about unity now, but even at that, a lot of people know that Nigeria has never been this divided by ethnic chauvinism, religious sentiments, okay? We've been divided by so many things. So much so that our children who want to go on youth service do not want to go to certain parts of the country. Okay. It's as bad as that. So we need the president to use this opportunity to rebuild and to redefine the structure that we have in this country at the moment. Many Nigerians they are not particularly proud of what Nigeria is at the moment. And we should also know that for the first time, many more Nigerians are fleeing. They are not living in this country. They are fleeing the country to somewhere else. Nigerians are found everywhere now around the world, even in Haiti. Yeah. You will be surprised. Nigerians are in Haiti. They are in all sorts of places that shouldn't be as endowed as this country. But because of the situation in the country, they are fleeing. Exactly. Yes, in their thousands and thousands and thousands. And our leaders must look at that. What even pains me as a person is that those who are living are within the productive bracket, within the productive age group, whom we should have been using to develop this country. But they are living. They cannot cope anymore. And our leaders must look at this. It's a very terrible situation. And I hope that before the 65th anniversary next year, things will be better and more agreeable.
Okay, looking at the statement from the NLC, Nigerians burdened by broken promises, exploitation, and corruption. Let us look at this. Let us look at this from the Daily Trust, from front page of the Daily Trust. Tinubu says country is winning war against insecurity. What's your take on this?
Well, that's debatable. I'm not a member of the armed forces, but I think that from what we have been saying, there's still a lot to be done, obviously. A lot to be done in terms of tackling the issue from the very foundation. And what do I mean by this? We don't have to wait until they have wreaked havoc on the poor, innocent citizens. Let us meet them at the point of hatching their plans. That's security, okay? That is fighting the war against security, which could even be less expensive, by the way. Let us apply technology to fight this war. There are some retired army officers. I've said this, quite frankly. This is not a war. It's not a conventional war, right? So it is a kind of war that will show to the rest of the world that we mean well. Okay. When we're fighting this kind of war, it's not conventional in the sense that there are no boundaries. For instance, even though we're at war, a lot of people might say that we are not at war, but I want to disagree. Certainly, we're at war with these bandits and all of that. Okay. So, but intelligence is an issue. let us apply intelligence, let us apply technology to meet them at the point of hatching their plans.
Okay.
Well, yes, they can be decimated just when they are hatching their plan, not when they have wreaked havoc, then we begin to fight back. No, that's not the way it is. It's not.
Well, we would have continued on and on with this issue as regards the Independence Day celebration, but we'll definitely do that. I'll make you that promise coming up quite soon, the interview segment. But before we do that, we still have some other papers to review, so we'll take just a little break before we delve on to the other papers. Thanks for staying tuned. We'll move straight away to the front page of the Nigerian News Direct, where we have pressure mounts on Independence Day as Nigerians protest hardship twice in 2 months. Will not be deterred, Showore vows as police deploy personnel. No procession rally will be allowed in Abuja. This is coming from the AIG. And Article 1 of democratic erosion says Nigeria's progress threatened by lack of political inclusivity.
All issues, many issues wrapped up into one, but
yes.
I'll just take one or two. I mean, for instance, it's been captured out there that we've had 2 protests within 2 months.
2 months, yes.
Yes, August and October. Right, that is not good for national development. It's not good because it shows that somehow there's a disconnect between the people and the government, and government must listen. And this is true of all leadership formats around the world. Government must listen, because I will tell you, I mean, this is a high point in leadership. If government is doing very well, people will not protest.
Okay.
Yes, people will not protest. In fact, when there are pockets of people who protest, the generality of the people will revolt against them. You know, and that will mean that there will be a lot of apprehension and things like that. But right now, the generality of the people in this country, even though they cannot say it openly, they are not happy, and we must be factual. They are not happy because the standard of living is very, very low, very low, and we can count the indices. All right. Now, the other point is, yes, the police, they are saying that no protest. But at the same time, the presidency is saying that, yes, they are free to protest, except that they should not go into violence. That's what everybody is saying. Yes, if they protest peacefully, they carry placards along the street and all that without violence, that's a great thing. And in any case, they are constitutional rights.
Okay.
And the presidency is aware of that. All right? But the problem comes when hoodlums take advantage of the situation to unleash mayhem and destruction. And that is where the police comes in. The police should not come against the protesters. They should come against those who are miscreants.
And don't you think it is the fear of the protest being hijacked by the miscreants that is making the police come out now to say no protest at all, so that the miscreants
again,
will not have
I come to intelligence.
Okay.
Intelligence format can detect those who will cause mayhem.
Okay.
Yes, underground. That's why we have secret police. They should know. Those who are going to cause mayhem, you attack them right before they even come out into the open. All right. I mean, look at, with benefit of hindsight, look at when we had the NSAS riot. I mean, those children, they went peacefully and all of that, until these things were hijacked. Even this was during the Buhari administration, even buses were filled up with miscreants. And the suspicion was that these buses were made available by the government in power at the time. So there was even they were complicit, right? But I think that government should strive to always be on the same page. I've said it repeatedly. They should be on the same page with the people. When they are on the same page, we won't have protests. There are countries around the world, for 10 years, they won't have protests. They won't. Because you see, even strike by labor unions, they won't, because things are working well. That's what the beauty of leadership is all about. When the leadership is skewed, that's when you have protests and all sort of things, okay? But I hope, I pray that the government this time around will listen and be more caring. I mean, for instance, more caring to the extent that let us put smiles on the faces of the people. And what is even so strange now is that while the people are struggling, I'm happy the president talked about this, that we should be patient and that he is aware of the struggles and things like that. But what of the flamboyant lifestyle of some of our leaders? They are totally out of sync with present realities on the ground, totally out of sync. And the people they are aware, they are conscious. While we are suffering, while we are trying to understand what is happening, people are living in those highfalutin lifestyle, which is not a mark of good leadership in situations such as this. Yes.
Okay, well, if I remember very well, just yesterday, you talked about inclusivity in government, regardless of political party affiliation. And Atiku is mentioning the same thing here. Still on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct, Atiku warns of democratic erosion, says Nigeria's progress threatened by lack of political inclusivity.
What does that mean? It means that we must look beyond our primordial instincts, for instance, and basic base elements of what do I call it now? We must look beyond sentiments.
Okay.
Yes. Those primordial things, we must look beyond them. And we must not be parochial in our attitude and responses. And I will explain this. I've said it before, and I'm saying it here. That, yes, when we are appointing people, there must be people who are known to be of merit, of integrity, of indices of performance, regardless of whether they belong to the ruling party or whatever. And we have them. I said it yesterday. Abundant resources in this country, abundant resources across board, across ethnic divides, in the north, in the east, in the west, in the south. We have human beings, Nigerians, who can lift the banner of this country aloft. We'll go out and look. In fact, I think that's what I expect President Tinubu to do now. Okay. Go out and look for these people. They are there. They are political. Go out and look for them so that they can help him to salvage the situation. Yes, Nigerians are bound. And you won't find them in partisan politics because they know that even the leadership of the parties is badly skewed, badly structured, for instance. So you won't find them. They won't go there at all. All right? But they stay on their own and just watching things. But they have these things upstairs. So President Tinubu should look for them. Yes. Look, there are retired people. There are people in business. There are people who are just watching from the sideline. Who are another businessmen or retired people. Okay? But they are watching from the sideline to see what can be done. They may not be popular, but we know their track records. We know their track records. And this is not just with the federal government, even among the states. Yes, when a governor is sworn in, let him look for people who can help him to lift up the situation. Because what we see sometimes in the federal government is replicated, even within the states. All right. And as I said in one of my books, leadership is all about compassion. It's all about integrity. It's all about altruism. And what's altruism? Selflessness. Okay. There is no governor in this country, I'm saying it again, who went into office as a pauper. No. That's not, tell me. Who went into office as a pauper? Not one. But because of avarice, I mean, they dig their hands into the public till and they begin to do all sorts of funny things. That is carried from very base instincts. All right. And it brings the people down. Yes. It pauperizes the people. So we must be selfless. That is, and the true spirit of nationalism. We don't have nationalistic leaders in this country. We must have people who are conscious, of what they can do for the country, not what the country can do for them. Yes, what they can offer. There are people who want to offer services, but we put them down because they don't belong to political parties. Okay. And they are there.
Okay.
Yeah, in their legion, they are there.
All right.
Yes.
Well, we'll move down now to, yes, I know this is actually your fault. We'll move down to sports. where we have Nigeria at 64. Highs and lows of Nigeria sports in the last 365 days.
I don't even want to talk about it because we had a very bad record, in the last 365 days. Look at the Olympics, for instance. Just one example, the Olympics. Billions were pumped in. We did not come back with any one medal. Yes, not even a bronze medal. Because the reason is, I've said, I mean, as a sports commentator in those days, I used to say quite clearly that we need to be putting people, people in the right offices. Square pegs in square holes. In sports administration, the reverse has always been the case. And so when they get there, they begin to group. Again, it comes down to the issue of doing things appropriately in terms of service. Sports is a great unifying factor. All right? You can spend less when you invest more in sports. Spend less in governance, I mean, in terms of launder your image and things like that. Because sports is all over the world. I mean, I gave the example, I was there in 1996 in Atlanta. All right? When Kanu raised up the banner of this country, Abacha was the military head of state. He was the head of the military junta. That young man ran across in Atlanta, Georgia. Where is this coming from? A lot of people did not know. But suddenly they knew that green, white, green belonged to Nigeria. Yes. And they applauded the country to the high heavens. How much did we spend? Abacha was busy laundering the image, using billions. But just look at Atlanta, one single competition. In that tournament, Nigeria won the most golden of all the gold medals. That was a football medal. Gold. It shot up the image of Nigeria to the high heavens. And we did not spend much. That's the kind of thing we should be doing now. Sports is a major industry, by the way. It's a major, major industry, which can be used to unify. Look, let me tell you, when there's a major football match, you are Kabiru, I'm Ebunike, the other person is Folonsho, the other one is probably Ubebo. When there's a goal scored by our side, all of us unite and raise up our hands.
Very true.
When there's a loss, all of us are saddened because there is spirit of nationalism. Okay? That kind of thing can be translated into the outer sphere of our national development efforts. So, let's pay greater attention. We'll be wobbling. In sports, I mean, the stories abound in newspapers. We'll be wobbling. Sports, failure here, failure there. No, nothing whatsoever. And yeah, this is a country that has produced people like the Tiger. It's a country that has produced people like, Ebunike. It's a country that has produced Nduka Odiza, who went almost to the quarterfinals of Wimbledon many years ago. This is the same country that has produced Eke Amo, the same country that has produced Isaac Ikwaria, one of the bronze medal in the Olympics in those days. I mean, so we can go on and on. Why are we where we are? In sports, why are we where we are? I mean, because Nigeria is a giant when it comes to sports. Yes, highly respected in those days. But now, where are we?
Just before we go, let's take a little look at the issue of brain drain in the sports sector.
They will go because what are we offering them? We are talking about, thank God you even mentioned it, we are talking about professional football. What's professional about the kind of football we are playing? In Egypt, for instance, they have a solid professional football system. And the people come from across the Mediterranean, from Europe, into Tunisia, into Egypt, into Algeria. How many do we have in Nigeria? We are still playing this local stuff. And yeah, we are saying a professional league. In fact, when I read that sometimes, I just laugh. What's professional about what we are doing? First of all, the clubs do not even have their own stadium facilities. They do not have the right equipment. And the players are not just there.
Okay.
They are not there. The same country that has produced people like Kanu. And yet, when they go abroad, they excel. Why? Because the environment over there is much better. I don't want to name them. I mean, we all know them. Footballers, sportsmen who have left this country. It's a brain drain which percolates to very many other areas in our national life. We have lost doctors. We've lost engineers, computer wizards. We've lost all of them. When they get to the US, they become superstars from this same country, meaning that we do not even value them. That's what it means. We do not value. If we value them, we will lose them. And if we value them, we will make sure that we pay them accordingly. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Emmanuel Legariva. So much to talk about Nigeria at 64. Well, on this note, I want to say thanks for staying tuned to the newspaper analysis segment of the Morning Drive on Providence Television International. Don't go away as the interview segment comes up next.